Good morning everybody. I'm going to give you a slight introduction on what growth hacking is. So let's start by the elephant in the room and tell you what growth hacking is not. Growth hacking is often confused with acquisition, so people think that a growth hacker is supposed to bring a lot of people to your website, but actually a growth hacker thinks about a lot more than just about acquisition. They think about experience, they think about user or onboarding, so there's a lot of more things that are going on if you try to be a growth hacker. And beside that, growth hacking isn't free. People think, yeah, it can be cost effective, it could be cheap, but it's definitely not free. It's like a decision that you have to make, or you want to invent the time yourself, or you try to find other tools that can do things for you. Can anybody in the room tell me what this picture is? Where you could recognize it from?
I see a pug.
Yeah, pug.
It was the winner of the Super Bowl ads in 2011. And I want to tell you a little bit more about the story of Sean Ellis. He was VP marketing working in Silicon Valley, did a lot of growth for startups there. And when his clients want to introduce him to other people, they couldn't tell about him like he was the VP of marketing, because that wasn't what he was. People would thought that he will do like Super Bowl ads and that kind of stuff, but actually was doing way different things. So this is about like the complete skill set of what a growth hacker should be. You see there is a lot of things that they should know about, but actually it's more about a new form where you specialize in certain things. You have areas where you really can focus on and like you have different cases for different growth. So why is it important that we start growth hacking? If you see this graph, you see the average spent to acquire a user via online ads. And what you see is that there was an increase in the statistics and that it's really becoming more expensive to get users to your platform. Besides that, there are like a lot of channels coming every day. And those channels are really buzzy, so there are a lot of people coming to this platform. It's really hard to differentiate yourself. And what you see is also that the interest of different platforms where you rely on now can have like a much less effect in the near future. So what are like the different aspects that a growth hacker is working with? You have acquisition, which is like the obvious thing to get people to your platform. You have activation, where you want people to have like a certain action on your website. Then you have revenue, which speaks for itself. It's where you sell a product and you get money for it. Then you have referral, which means that you actually activate your customer user base to actively invite your friends and to get them to your platform. And the last one, retention, is when you want to have people that come back. So for example, for Coolblue, they sell a product once. When they sell a fridge to somebody, it's great. But actually you want to have like a customer that comes back, and when he needs television, he wants to get it at Coolblue as well. And then we have like one added now, resurrection, which is for like social media, for example, on Facebook, where people are like, don't use the platform for like 5 months, and then they can activate those people by finding a moment to actually get them back on the platform and see what their interest is in. This is from Paul Graham, by the way. So then some case studies. Do you guys all know Airbnb?
Yeah.
Right. Airbnb is a platform where you can rent out your house. And what they did pretty smart in the beginning was that they saw there were a lot of people that renting their house were posting their listings on Craigslist. So they already had like a huge market to tap into where there were already people renting out their house. So what they did, they reverse engineered. So whenever you posted your house on Airbnb, you could directly post it on Craigslist, where they get a lot of traffic from. Another case study is Dropbox. Dropbox is a cloud-based service where you can like save your data, so photos and stuff. And what they did really smart is saw an opportunity to get people to invite their friends by giving them more space to save their pictures and movies and stuff. And the last case study is about Blendle. So do you guys all know Blendle?
Yeah.
So it's a platform that shares like newspapers and magazines, so you can buy them on demand. And what they do is they let you choose about certain topics where you're interested in. And now I'm reading a topic, so I choose like one of the articles, and then it automatically matches the. So this is So I matches my interest with my friends, and so, oh, they have the same interest. And what you can do then is give a friend access to that article, and then you activate retention, and people that will get a message from a friend, he's inviting you to read his article. Alright, so but when do you start growth hacking? What is like the right moment when you would start growth hacking? If you see here, it's a graph about the growth of a company, and it's really, you see that it takes off at product market fit. And that's also where you want to aim for. You want to start growth hacking when you have product market fit. How do you determine that product market fit? Those are two examples how you could do it. So the first example is the Net Promoter Score. You send out a survey letting people rate your product on a base from 0 to 10, and then you find your distractors, passives, and promoters. And you want to really work with passive. You want to leave the passives out. You want to work with your promoters, and you want to learn from why your distractors are not using your product as they're supposed to. And then you have the Scalable test, which is a bit newer. You have like 3 questions. Actually, there's a fourth one where you can say I don't use the product anymore. But at least 40% needs to be very disappointing when you quit with your product. So what's also very important is that before you start growth hacking, you have your funnel right. So what you see here is like the analytics of a website where people come on the home page, go to the product page, then go to the contact, and then to the inquiry, where you see a huge drop in product contact. Before you start growth hacking, you should always make sure that you don't have any leaks in your funnel, because people coming in, but they will go out as well. And if you fix this leak first, you will have people staying on your platform. So what's like the sweet spot to be on a growth hacker is if you really can find out what is your must-have user. What is the user, what is the behavior, what are their needs, how can you describe the user, and how can you find more of them. That's really where a growth hacker tries to deep dig into the analytics and combine a lot of tools to find out what is the favorite user of your service. And what is also very important is to find like a metric that you want to measure for your company. Before it was always registered users. So for example, Facebook would publish the numbers about registered users. Whereas now we see different metrics for Facebook. They will act on active users, because that's the only way the platform really works. Same for WhatsApp. They base their successes on if they have like message sent to other people. And then, for example, for Square is a payment provider. They have a lot of people that go to the platform and see, oh, what's going on here. So they have another metric to watch that, because they want actually to be working with the users that make transactions. So this is the graph of Twitter, where you can see that they really made like a huge jump in growth when they started doing high tempo testing. So before the fourth quarter of 2010, they had like only one or a half experiment, so one experiment in 2 weeks. And when they started to do 10 experiments each week, you see that they have like enormous growth, because they are learning from their customer, they're learning from the platform, and they see where they can improve on and do some growth with it. So how can you generate a lot of ideas with your team, and then where do you do your prioritization? Where are you going to work on? And this is the ACE framework to make your prioritization. One is the impact. So if we do this experiment, what will be the outcome from this? What do we think that it will be the impact from this experiment? Then you also have the confidence of that it will. What is the confidence of what it will actually attribute to your North Star metric? So for example, if you go back to WhatsApp, can we do an experiment and people go send more messages? Maybe we need to implement emoticons in our thing. And the last one is ease. So how easy is it to do this experiment? And how much time will it take from the team? How much cost will it take from the team to get this experiment out? So this is an example of an experiment where you can see 2 different landing spaces. It's also called an A/B test. So half of the people go to the left page and half of the people go to the right page. And then you see the difference in conversion rate. And in the end you see that it's like 50% more going to the right page. You can do like designing, you can do developing, but you will never know up front what will happen with your users. So this is why it's very important to experiment. Alright. Alright, so that was my introduction to growth hacking. What I want to give you is like, make sure you have product market fit first, fix your leaks in your funnel, choose where you want to focus on, so which level you want to focus on, so acquisition, retention, referral, that kind of things. Find your best user and try to find more of them, and then double down on success. So I want to end with this thing. It was the header from the Netflix newsletter, and they put it a call to action where it was like a 700% increase in the clicks. That was it.